Things are happening on an increasing basis in our lives now. Attacks by family members, partners leaving, discord in your own circles. Unless things make sense in the world is 1, a test of your resolve, 2, wheat and chaff disconnection evidenced, and 3, the two worlds getting wider. Why are you noticing it, and what is your reactions? Essentially, your frequency level has changed. You are not in their paradigm anymore. And we did warn all of the above would take place as far back as 2015, and warn further in certain aspects in the subsequent years since. Don't fear it. Don't react to it. Just embrace where you are and where you're at. Now, the final piece for tonight is about the PSI field. For those new, it's like your aura. But imagine your PSI field is like an item of clothing. You all love that old, worn-out jacket and refuse to replace it. But it's not the jacket you hold on to, it's the frequency of it. It's also comfortable, despite the holes, the tears, and being out of shape. You hold onto it till it literally falls off your back. Or the wife bins it on trash day so you can't recover it. I can hear some men sniggering now. Well, the same applies to our PSI field on an individual and collective level. And the question is, how will you fare walking in a 50-mile-an-hour blizzard of snow with that jacket on? Not too well. And the wearer may change jackets. And yet many choose to ignore their own personal jacket and leave holes in it and wander around life in a blizzard of negative frequencies day after day and wonder why life is crap. Now, some will say, well, I can't see it, so it's not real. But no one can see air, but we still breathe it. No one has seen God, Jesus or Muhammad, but 4.5 billion believe in it. Denying its existence is a frequency-based suicide program. I'll repeat that again. Denying its existence is a frequency-based suicide program. Now imagine inside the jacket is a cup filled with oil, all thick and gooey, and you attempt to clean that cup with water. What happens? All the oil stays and the water skims off. So neither the cup or the item of clothing gets cleansed. It just sits there. Except, unlike the cup or the jacket, ours festers, expands, proliferates and weighs us down. The cup, which is the inner you, is filled with negative frequencies of anger, frustration, anguish, envy, insecurities, inferiority complex, little me, victim, saviour programs, hurt, pain and traumas. A vicious cocktail of frequencies, none of which is helpful to you in this life or future lives for that matter. A thick, viscous soup that leaves you, in essence, like walking through life in treacle, molasses for those who are American. So that is what many people have become, a thick soup. And then we come to the garment you wear, known as your PSI field. Again, that is thick in oil, full of holes and tears. You try to wash it and it rolls off. It's too greasy or slippery, or it falls in the hole. So you have to break it down to clean that field also. A PSI field full of holes is an entrance point for the astral level infections, the dark spirits, and the extinct critters. For those new, cancer comes from an astral level infection, not the physical level. If you get cancer, you had a hole in your PSI field. Your field is filled with inner trauma and also the angers and frustrations of everyone else in your close environment or those you engage with. And yet people think they can thrive in that environment. You think your inner light can shine like a beacon in that environment? Nope. The oil is that thick, not enough of your inner light penetrates. Too many have become a walking stream of negative, lower level frequencies. Your PSI field is connected to other lower level frequencies. Like attracts like. And essentially you become a walking Wi-Fi delivery system of negative frequencies, and you drag them through your lives day after day. At some point, all of you will have had a fallout with someone, be it vocal or by violence, and you no longer speak to that person, and you think that that is that. Nope. You have a tentacle or a cord still connected with that frequency or person because you never let it go. Now imagine all the other tentacles you have with all the other people you have had bad interactions with. You'll resemble looking something like a villain trapped by Spider-Man in a movie, meshed in a negative web that you may perceive as not your doing, but a differing percentage of that interaction was down to you and your reactions to it. And this is the essence of why your shadow and inner work is the most important thing you can do. You repeat behaviours and bad scenarios in your life because you didn't address the previous ones. And I guess it's time to cut some cords, is it not? Every sexual intercourse encounter you have had also creates a cord. So whilst you thought it was fun at the time you all notched up all these sexual encounters, perhaps now it was not the best interaction for you overall, was it? Now I can imagine some thinking back now of the ones they've slept with and going, holy F, Thomas, I really didn't want to hear that. Well, I said you will hear what you need to know, not what you want to know. But that sexual cord lasts for 7 years, whether you're with that person or not. 7 years from the last interaction. The global PSI field is also a thick treacle, mired in discord, disconnection, distortions and lies. And your PSI field you wear is based on lies and the masking of lies that you embrace, because it is or was not the real you, was it? We've all worn masks to cover our own perceived weaknesses, and a dropping of the mask leaves the real you. If you don't like the real you, or not enough of the real you is being shown, that's up to you to correct it. As you empty your inner cup, more of the real you comes out, not the negative frequencies we've all held on to. We have accepted the narrative that has been fed to us, and it became part of our field. Like earlier, the Irish history, the American history, what's going on in South America, what's really the truth about the Catholic Church, etc., etc. We've all been fed the narrative and it became part of our field. Like the old worn-out jacket, we've held onto it for far too long. But there's a tiny light inside of all of you that is chirping away, going, this field, this life, and your whole reality is BS. The whole field holds all of the lies we've been fed on and in all aspects of life. The field, in essence, is like an AI copy of illusion. It's a mask. We are not the Phantom of the Opera men or women. We are a shining beacon. So why do we all dull that light with bullshittery and fakery? As your inner light gets bigger, and as you cut more of your cords via the inner work, you reach a tipping point where the light shines more than the oily dark shadows, and it's screaming, get out of this field. This is your knowledge-based awakening, and suddenly things start to make more sense because the fog is lifted and your inner and outer vision is suddenly a whole lot clearer. Reality just walked in your door and essentially slapped you out of your self-induced coma. No more back in the permanent sleeper pods for you. You can't undo what you have learned and gone back, or go back, because that you no longer exists. Why? Because you are no longer in that field or frequency anymore. And finally in your life, you begin to grow. Despite all your cords, disconnections, traumas, strife, pain, and consuming volumes of negative frequencies, consume the lies, and wearing proudly and stubbornly your masks of illusion, and having slept for vast parts of your life, had clever manipulators pulling strings in the background, walking through life in a vast vat of treacle, you all came out the other side, and you're all shining your beacons of light as only an organic human can. Give yourselves all a pat on the back for even getting this far. You're still waiting for the event? You were the event. This has been the Truth, Honour and Integrity Show. My name's Thomas Williams. Bye for now.